Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. I am one of your hosts, Blazeman. I'd like to introduce the rest of the boys and Mr. D, a.k.a. Mr. Crowley. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, without further ado, the main man, the man that gets us up in the morning to get our research done, okay? The man that wants to put the M in world hunger. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. B.
Howdy, everybody. Howdy. Hello, everybody. And hello, Buffalo Bob. That's right. Here from Epping, New Hampshire, home of three of New Hampshire's governors. Alive and kicking here to cook a chicken. I'll see y'all. How you doing, everybody?
All right. So, of course, always a big introduction from Mr. B. And I'd like to apologize to our viewers that tune into the show about the late start. We just had to, clean up some things. I mean, look, you're probably not going to find any nowadays, guys. I'm sure you'll agree. But, you get all of those stars that used to perform live shows back in the day. I mean, the Honeymooners, that stuff was taped right then and there. You made a mistake, it's live. I don't think they had the capacity to record shows at that time.
No, what was even more crazy is
I'm
that
sorry.
audience. It was filmed by a live audience.
Yes, in front of a live audience, absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Now it's this program has been recorded in front of a live audience, But anyways, with that being said, so look, we got a lot to cover tonight, and maybe we'll get to it all, maybe we won't. But we certainly can give it a shot. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the Saudi forces. Newly freed hostages describe what life was like while being held by Hamas. Let's see. A suspect shooting of 3 Palestine descendants in New Hampshire pled, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Not guilty. Let's see. Number 4, Biden plans to use a Cold War era law to help the U.S. drop prices. Okay. I don't know. That sounds pretty intriguing, right, guys?
Yes.
North Korea claims they shot up a satellite, and it is so powerful, okay, that it seen, Joe Biden's wife come in the bathroom to wipe his ass. That's what North Korea says. That's what North Korea says. Okay. Number 6 on our agenda, if we get to it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is Ivanka Trump and the mortgage details and all of that fun stuff and how much daddy's property was worth. Let me ask you guys, gentlemen, a question. Ivanka Trump, good looking or not good looking? Would you kick her out of bed? Would you not kick her out of bed? Mr. B.
Ivanka Trump. I would kick her out of bed if she wanted to do it on the floor. Otherwise, but as far as this other thing with the, it's all noise. It's all noise.
Right.
Didn't Trump at one time say he'd make love to his own daughter?
No, he didn't say he would make love to his own daughter. You
Okay,
see
I'm
how things
sorry.
gets thrown out of proportion.
I'm sorry. He wanted to do sexy time.
No, he said that he would date his own daughter, which is fucking pretty fucked up in itself. But he still said that.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we're gonna fuck with him. I
Hey,
got no
you know
problem
what?
fucking with him. But we're
Say
gonna
what
talk
you
about
want.
it
He
later.
still ain't Bill Cosby, all right?
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah.
Oh, Farker's world.
I can't no more. I just can't no more.
Yep.
All right. So look, guys, let's start off the show tonight with a little bit of Saudi forces clashing with Iran-backed Houthis. Now, I ain't heard too much about these Houthis, Mr. D. Can you care to elaborate with a little bit with our viewers?
Yes. So Yemen is right on the border of Saudi Arabia. It's a shithole country. And they got this terrorist group called Houthis, and of course we all know who they are a proxy for, Iran. And basically, the Houthis are strategically placed there in Yemen to and I'm trying to keep my mouth clean today, but try to disturb shit that's going on in Saudi Arabia when it comes to oil production. The Houthis and the Saudis, and I did a little research this morning. They've been in conflict since 2015. So my concern is that if the Houthis continue pressing on with Saudi Arabia and stuff, and they all may think Iran and Saudi Arabia are buddies, but that is totally opposite. And I really see Saudi Arabia calling Joe Biden saying, hey, we need help to knock this out the way. They did it before and they'll do it again. Trust me.
All right. With that being said, let's pop a little listen here.
Is on high alert after deadly clash. Saudi Arabia's military is on high alert after deadly clashes with Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels. Why do we care when we're paying attention to the Israel-Hamas war?
There was a tentative truce in place between Saudi Arabia and the Houthi rebels who are backed by Iran in neighboring Yemen. And Saudi Arabia was actually holding direct negotiations with the Houthis to forge a permanent ceasefire and end this war that started 8 years ago. Everything changed on October 7th when Hamas attacked Israel. You had the Houthi leader a few days later come out and make a speech in which he praised Hamas, identified himself as part.
Saudi Arabia's military
I am
is on
so
high
sorry,
alert
ladies and
after
gentlemen.
deadly
It's
clashes
touchy.
with Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels. Why do we care when we're paying attention to the Israel-Hamas war?
There was a tentative truce in place between Saudi Arabia and the Houthi rebels who are backed by Iran in neighboring Yemen. And Saudi Arabia was actually holding direct negotiations with the Houthis to forge a permanent ceasefire and end this war that started 8 years ago. Everything changed on October 7th when Hamas attacked Israel. You had the Houthi leader a few days later come out and make a speech in which he praised Hamas, identified himself as part of the so-called axis of resistance, and said that he would do everything to help Hamas. He said all military options were being considered, particularly if the U.S. Steps in and supports Israel.
Saudi Arabia's military is on high alert.
So, D.
Yes.
I mean, who are these Houthis? I mean, I know you explained a little bit, but I mean, hello, Mrs. Tammy. I mean, Is Iran trying to pull this region into a bigger conflict?
Mr. B, what do you think? I'm still mincing on it.
Iran fancies themselves the puppeteer. Iran thinks that they're going to take and do whatever they are, that they're going to wind up and do the Metternich sort of thing. You remember I told you about Prince Metternich of
No,
Austria?
refresh us, please.
Well, you don't have to tell us. You got to tell the audience.
Okay, Metternich, ruler of Austria many years, many centuries ago, was a cold, calculating son of a bitch. He would always have all the surrounding countries in the area. This one would go after this one, would antagonize this one and this one, but Metternich was always behind it. And when it looked like they were going to the brink of war, Metternich would step in and he would have a solution to it and calm it out. And as a result, one after the other, all came behind Metternich. He barely had any army whatsoever. He barely had any way of doing anything in his pissant-sized country. But he had all of Europe by the Kishka because he was the one who allegedly was holding everything together. He was the one who was pulling the strings. Now, Iran is doing sort of the same thing by getting this faction over to do something, this faction over to do something, this faction over to do something, all for what? For one common enemy. And when all is said and done, everybody's going to be turning around. If they succeed in destroying the Israelis, everybody's going to be bowing down to Iran. And Iran, who itself is already oil rich, is going to become that much stronger in the region. That's how I see it.
So
Mr. D.
I looked at possible targets and I Googled it. I'm like top 10 targets in Iran to hit. And out of the 10 of them, I would say 7 to 6 were all refinery plants. And all their oil refinery is done on their coast. Shit, man. They even got an island over there, and I don't have it up right now in front of me, where the oil is chucked in, and it's about 50 miles off their coast. And the oil tankers just line up there and get their oil. But getting back on Iran on dominance, I don't think they're looking for more territory. I think their bottom line is they want the annihilation of Israel and the Israeli people. Bottom line, that's it.
Okay. Assadi's not worried about it, right? Because who do they got that's going to protect their ass?
Well, China can't. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead. We'll back Saudis, right?
Yes. Even after President Biden called them what kind of a pariah state? A damn pariah state. That's what you call Yemen, Somalia. You know, not a oil producing country. And shit, let's be straight up on the table, man. That's the only interest we have there. We don't care about Muslim people over there. All we care is what comes out of their ground. That's it. Bottom line. I don't see anything else. Why aren't we more involved in South Africa? I mean, you got warlords there too. Wouldn't consider them terrorists, just a different name though. Warlord.
You're right. I agree with you.
You know, shit, man. I went to the first Gulf War just to drop 10 cents off your gallon of gas. That was it. But getting back to Iran and Iraq, the Iraq-Iran war, we all know what went down there. We were totally funding Iraq. And why did we get rid of Saddam Hussein? weapons of mass destruction. Look how crazy that area is.
Yeah, but
now that Saddam Hussein is gone, he knew how to control his people. I mean, it was barbaric in the ways he did, but there was no problem there. What Iran needs definitely is a definite regime change. Get that top secular religion shit out of your government, man. And that's and I think with little agents like Talib and Ilhan Omar, they're trying to poison the water. They really are.
The problem with things of that nature is governments based like that must be toppled like the Nazis were. They're not just going to fade away. Their own people aren't going to take and just force them out and say, we're tired of you, we're done with it. No, it's not going to happen. These people have a hideous regime and a thumb oppressing their people, pushing their down faces deep into the sand, and they can't breathe. They can't get up. They can't do a damn thing. So everybody just toes the line and gets to eat food and breathe and die.
Yes.
Nothing is going to happen any differently until there is a drastic change.
Handle your salutation with one of your viewers.
And
there.
good evening, Ms. Lawler, all the way from up Waldoboro, Maine. Good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in.
It's home of caribou country, ain't it?
hello, Jesse. Thanks for joining the show.
Actually, Waldoboro is the home of the three-masted schooner.
That's a ship.
Yes.
You were checking me.
Well, yeah. No, they that's where I guess they started building three-masted schooners up there.
Nah, but let me get back to this Saudi Arabian and Houthi thing. When the Saudis are definitely when they're on high alert, something's happening. And trust me, the State Department, our State Department is probably talking with them and all that stuff. I really think the Houthis are going to start something with Saudi, and that's what will drag us in. I really do believe that. And the majority of their force is legs. What I mean by leg, they're on the ground. They don't have tanks or anything like that. They're not a well-regulated militia. Ooh, that sounds familiar.
Not at all.
Militia.
They're not.
No.
Not at all. They're not. I mean, they only get what's left over.
They're Iranian pawns.
Pretty much.
Dude. and when that place is such, and I don't want to bring religion into this, but I guess I am. So I believe Muhammad and Jesus walked that areas. But good God, when that sun comes out, it seems like you're walking on hell, man. I don't know what drives them to live there and how they sustain. It's a weird way of life, man. You wear pajama tops and that's it.
Yeah. Mr. B, anything to add?
There really isn't anything more that I could possibly add to this nightmare, except for if you have the time to do it, pick up a copy of that old movie now. I'm reaching way back to the 60s, Lawrence of Arabia, and watch the film end to end, and you will have a tremendous understanding of what's going on today, even though that story takes place back in the time of the First World War.
Lawrence of Arabia, huh?
Yes. Blaze man, and if I can close out with this, with the Saudi Arabia being a high forces, you definitely put this on my radar, and I will definitely be watching what's going on from there, man. Because it don't smell good, man. It really don't. I mean, and especially when they stop losing soldiers. Because I believe the Saudis lost 4, correct?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I mean, are these guys just like a bunch of bums that like live in fucking tents and they can get these guys to do harm, excuse me, to civilians for I don't know, $5,000 or some shit? I mean, what's the deal? I mean, these guys are they funded heavily?
Oh, you just look at their uniforms, their weapons, man. Just that costs dollars, man. Where does that money come? It doesn't come from Yemen.
Hmm.
Could I give
So
you
That region has had cutthroats and miserable, barbaric sons of bitches for a decade, for millennia, that were all for hire. Nomadic cutthroats have been going through that area for millennium.
and shit?
right,
TCNs, they all work that country. Shit, look at the TCNs that got released with the Israeli hostages, Filipinos and Thai. These people go over there to the Middle East, surrender their passport, and just become slaves for the Saudi people, man. And so on with the Israelis, because the Israelis had them over there in the kibbutz, helping them take care of the ranch and all that stuff. But we talk about the Uyghurs up in China. Shit, we need to look at the TCNs. TCN stands for Third Country National, and
right.
that's how they're treated in them countries. They get a little apartment, they work 12 hours, and that's it, man. For me, minimum money, minimum. It's sad and it's a tragedy, man. But again, what does the Filipinos give to us? What does the Thailand give to us? Nothing. So we won't get involved. It's sad.
Hmm.
Over.
Mr. B.
There's a video that I'm trying to forward off to you that I really think would cement the information that I'm trying to convey to you.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think we've got if we've got it up. If you
That's
see it,
beautiful, Chris. That's beautiful Christmas tree behind you there, Blaze.
Thank
yes,
you,
it
sir.
is.
Much
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yeah, that's a. Go ahead, Mr. B.
I was just going to ask if Mr. Blazeman, have you got the information I sent?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm working on it
Okay.
as we speak. There, absolutely.
I wanted to make sure that I
You
got it.
just give me about another 2 seconds, and I'll have that right up. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean we're not trying to be funny here, but Mr. B is insisting that you could get a lot of actual information from Lawrence of Arabia in 1962. So here we go. Well, I guess they were a little late.
Nope.
Okay. Could you want to elaborate on this, Mr. B, or?
What happened was this is a time when the Turks were in retreat, coming through the lands, and the nomadic peoples that Colonel Lawrence, at that time, Captain Lawrence, had managed to band together all of these different tribes, if you will,
Okay, so
to fight against.
So he was British.
He was a British soldier who was dispatched by his superiors to find Prince Faisal and the people, Prince Faisal, and to get the Arabian people, fighting together so that they can take and vanquish the Turks away from the interested land that the Brits had wanted control of eventually. And of course, they were going to leave the Arab royalty in place as, if you will, puppet government. But the way things had worked out, it kind of kind of sort of flipped itself over. But watch what you had seen was the Turks had come through and killed basically an entire village. So now this is their payback, and this is exactly how these people will act.
Orans, not this. Go round. Damascus, Orans. Damascus.
No prisoners.
The man riding forward, his family was found murdered.
Good old chuck wagon.
Yeah.
God. God.
I mean, these other dudes, they got fucking rifles and machine guns and shit.
Chuck wagon.
At least they ran. Custer fucking put himself in a circle. Okay, so
Nothing stopped them.
look at him. He's going mad. He fucking loves the idea of killing. Look at the madness in his eyes and his face. Loves it.
Enough. Enough. Make them stop.
All right, Mr. B, you're up. Continue.
Basically, you've seen how these people, when they're fixed in their mind to war, this is how they will act. This is how nothing will stop them. And they are as barbarous and butcherous.
Mr. D, was that a good way to explain that situation with that movie clip? I mean, come on, Mr. D. I mean, you spent some time out there. You know a little bit about the culture and how things go out there.
They love their land. Let's not doubt that or anything like that. The majority of the people over there are just great people, man. It's just their leadership. Go ahead, Mr. B.
I understand that, but all the ones that you saw in that sector of the movie, they were all hired, the cutthroats that we were talking about,
right?
The types. This has been good. They have been available, and this has been a way of life for thousands of years in that region.
Yes.
And this is how the cutthroats act. if they say they're not going to take prisoners, going to do something, every living thing will be mowed down and cut down and put under the knife, and that's it.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break of the evening. We will be right back in 4.5 minutes.
have their freedom back. They are now dealing with the trauma of their captivity and sharing what it was like with loved ones. Raf Sanchez speaks to some of those family members about the road ahead.
Tonight, amid tearful scenes of hostages reuniting with their families, we're learning new details about their time in captivity and the conditions that around 170 remaining hostages are enduring still. 9-year-old Ohad Munder Zakri was released Friday with his mother Karen and grandmother Ruth. They spent 49 days in Gaza as prisoners of Hamas.
They were with one guy who kept them all the time, and she told me that all the time he did like that. So they were scared, they were whispering.
Were they ever tortured by Hamas?
No, I don't think so.
The family says they never saw other hostages and were moved constantly, sometimes held in tunnels like this, other times in houses or apartments.
They didn't get a lot of food. To go to the bathroom, they had to knock on the door, and then 1.5 hours waiting or 2 hours.
Cut off from the world, they had no idea about the scale of the October 7th attack or the global effort to bring them home.
She told me, I was on the television? Are you serious? I told her, your picture is all over the world.
They also didn't know Ohad's grandfather was alive, but remains a hostage, and found out they were being freed just hours before it happened. 25-year-old Roni Krivoy escaped and was on the run inside Gaza for 4 days before he was recaptured, his family says. Until now, most of what we knew came from Yocheved Lifshitz, one of the first hostages freed more than a month ago.
There are a huge network of tunnels underneath. It looks like a spider web.
The hostages may have valuable intelligence for Israel's military, but experts say the hostages need time to adjust.
They come out extremely anxious, suspicious, passive. They were passive for a long time. So there is a lot of work to be done in order to give them their sense of agency back.
Israel's government issuing guidelines for dealing with released children, saying expect age-inappropriate behavior like bedwetting, limit the number of visitors to keep them from being overwhelmed, and offer reassurance that they're safe now. Doctors say most of the children are in good health, and Ohad is now back home. But he has a long journey ahead just to be a kid again.
And Raf, we're also hearing one of the older hostages is now in serious medical condition. What more do we know?
Lester, 84-year-old great-grandmother Elma Avraham was rushed straight to the ICU after being released from Gaza on Sunday night. Hospital staff say she's on a ventilator and she's fighting for her life.
Oh, forgot to put the bowl on. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. I mean, that's got to be, and I mean, I can't speak for any one of those people that are there. And some of the gruesome acts that we've seen here on the FFN Network, and sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I can't air that in good conscience. As much as I really want to, because there's just a lot of idiots out there. And I'm specifically talking to the LGBTQ community, okay? Because there's no way that you would have any kind of rights at all in Palestine. Gentlemen, Kate Awadian. Now, we're speaking to the LGBTQ community. Because I mean, I've never seen anything so ridiculous in my entire life when you see a group in more than a handful.
Good point.
More than two handfuls.
Keep going.
A group of these LGBTQ community people protesting for Palestine and Hamas. And they absolutely have no idea you would be killed. They would cut your head off. Or if they want to make a spectacle of you, maybe throw you off a fucking bridge or something, or have you dangling by your hands by a crane in the middle of the fucking road.
Wouldn't they choose to maybe tie you to a pole and throw stones at you?
Yes, that as well. That's the God's honest truth. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here. You could try and be upset with me, but you're only going to be upset with me if when you start to realize that what I'm saying to you is the truth. Okay, that's when you'll get upset with me.
Well, I mean, it's a part of recorded history. In the Bible, they have stories about people being stoned to death.
Right.
If these people are very big on follow the science, follow this, whatever else. It is recorded history. It is known, accepted as historical fact. These things happen.
Yeah, but Mr. B, you're putting it as history. You're putting it up as history, Mr. B. And those laws are still in place today.
This is what I'm saying. They will do it. You can't say that it's not going to happen because they have done it and they will do it.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
if they won't if they won't listen, you could pick up this coffee cup and try to convince this coffee cup to sing an aria, and it's not going to happen. The same thing with these people. If they have it in their heads that they're right and you're wrong, you could show them every single possible thing that could possibly convince anybody that they're going to be killed if they support these things and they let those things happen, and they're not going to listen.
This is kind of, I wouldn't say tragic, but it's definitely the antennas need to come up because this movement of supporting Hamas in the good old United States is kind of scary.
Yeah, that's what's blowing my mind.
Yeah,
Dad.
But no, we have a breakdown in our society right now. We're going through something. I don't know what it is. The 60s was the hippies, and so on. But I just want to get to our society now. They all jump on a bandwagon for the sake of their First Amendment right, and they have no clue what they're talking about. None.
Agree.
I would point to another point in history if you want to know where this is going. D.
Go ahead, sir.
Go.
Please.
The fall of the Roman Empire.
Continue.
I mean that's it. That's the way the Roman Empire fell. When the last time was Caesar Augustus was murdered,
Mr. B, you got to explain.
Okay.
Nobody's saying to go into
when society started,
but
when the democratic society in Rome started falling, when the final truly elected or whatever Caesar had died, and everybody was turning around and saying, "Oh well, if you elect me Caesar, I'll give each citizen 10,000 denarii," and another one says, "Oh, I'll give him 15,000 denarii," and this and that, and blah 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 blah. Anything and everything that was going on in that society, they had open brothels, they had tax collectors that were cheating people, they had all kinds of everything, and their government had so far outreached its actual functional capacity. They literally had reached around the globe and not known it. There is now evidence that is showing up here on North American sections or whatever else. There are artifacts showing up from ancient Rome that shows that their people somehow or another circumnavigated around the globe and made it to North America and explored even out here. they're finding ancient Roman coins. They're finding ancient Roman crossbow bolts. You know, they're like the arrows that were fired out of Roman crossbows. And they're testing the metals, and they are finding that these are things that were made back in the era of ancient Rome, and of exactly the same materials that they found in these items that were recovered by archaeologists over on Roman soil or Italian soil. So they know that ancient Romans were up here.
Okay. Miss D, anything to add?
No, not really.
Right.
I got an update on the basketball game, 13-22 Celtics. I'm just watching it in the corner of my eye.
So it was I don't know, man. Like I said, I can't speak for these poor people that are there and the hostages. And again, we were talking about the LGBTQ organization. Look, yeah, you understand. I don't know. So the people want to just fight for a side. You know what I mean? Because I'm sorry, I'm sounding like a broken record, but it's like, you know, you don't know what in the actual fuck you're doing. You have read nothing. And maybe now, because I haven't seen any more of them in any of the recent protests, you know what I mean? I haven't seen, maybe some of them started reading. They'd be like, oh my God, you know what I mean? These people are horrific. A lot of people, young people, should be reading Hamas and Palestine. And, but, you know, war is hell. And there's no other way to explain it. You know, Israel's not bombing to fucking kill innocent civilians. Okay, and it's been proven in actual fact that these terrorists like Hamas have no issue of building an intelligence area inside a hospital, building tunnels inside the hospital. I mean, these fucking people are cowards. They kill innocent women and children. They kill innocent people, period. Okay? And then run and hide in tunnels that are built. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and the gentleman on the board here, this is just like incredibly insane on how sophisticated that these tunnel systems were. Bathrooms. And
do you know what it reminds me of?
And the reason, if you could give me one more, about 30 seconds, Mr. B. And the reason that people say Palestinians, is you're not going to tell me that the local government doesn't know that there's fucking tunnels here. The doctors, the nurses, I mean, they got these people fearing for their life. That's why none of them are coming out and saying, hey, there's tunnels in this building. Mr. B.
You just made my point. These are people. There is no government.
I just want to apologize for the background noise a little bit. Mr. D is getting a little bit construction done. He's going to be throwing him a sandwich pretty soon for lunch break. You know what I mean? But go ahead, Mr. B.
There is no government. The government is the people running around with guns.
Right.
Forcing the people to live in fear.
Right.
The people who work in the hospital, they are only interested in the human life aspect of it. They don't want to have anything to do with the guns and the torture and the shooting and the stonings. No. It's like the Red Cross. The Red Cross doesn't want to know anything about your guns or this or that or whatever else. They are completely neutral. The problem is the people with the guns are controlling everything. And if you step out of line, if you don't see eye to eye to them, you're going to be tortured. You're going to be killed. And this is how this is their administration of government.
And
that's how they live.
And if I can add to you, Mr. B, let's not forget the Palestine folks. They voted Hamas in to run their country.
Yes, but do you think that them people were fearing for their lives?
Oh hell yeah, man! Oh hell yeah!
Do you think that was a free election? Do you really think that was a free election?
No, man.
Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
No, but that's the Hamas, man. They're just looking for little straws that they can grasp and hope there's no end to it. But getting back to this hostage situation, oh man, they're just gonna, what's the word I'm looking at? They're gonna extend that as far as they can.
Yes.
They're gonna milk it.
Yes. And you know something, at the end, I don't think Hamas hasn't. I'm willing to bet they've been downgraded down to 30%. 30%.
How do you mean?
They're operational folks. They have soldiers they lost. I really believe they only got 30% left of their force.
Yeah, so you're saying that 30% of their forces were lost one day when they woke up.
No, I'm saying 70% of their forces
are gone. They bailed.
Yeah, because I really don't
ran away.
Yeah, no, I think they were destroyed in battle. Israel destroyed.
Oh,
them.
okay, all right, okay. Now it makes sense what you're saying. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no.
Let's make no mistake of this, boys. This shit isn't going to stop unless every single one of the Hamas is wiped out.
Well,
it's not going to stop.
That comes to my next question. Real quick question, gents. And then we'll move on. God damn it, getting old blows. It's right on what was I saying?
Our next subject brings it up to our next subject.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize.
Funding for this belch has been brought to you in part.
So, an Obama official, former Obama advisor Stuart Sattellite, can you pronounce that last name?
No, I can't.
Yeah,
I don't have it in front of me.
Seldowitz loses job after viral video shows him harassing cop vendor. Now, I haven't even seen the video yet. Okay, and unless this guy's a total dick, piece of shit, you know what I mean? If he gets fired for something, just all right. Let's all find out for ourselves.
No, Blaze, but before you open it up, let's understand this gentleman worked for the Obama administration.
Yeah. A former Obama advisor. He was an advisor to Obama. I got you, Donnie.
What did he do? Let's see.
To get you out the break.
Exactly, Mr. B.
All right, so let's take a listen.
Bring Donnie on, man.
Yeah, in a sec, bro.
You kill children, not me. Go.
I didn't kill children.
Okay, well, I see here.
You know why? If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Go. What the
A Manhattan-based lobbying firm cut ties with its affiliate, Stuart Seldowitz, who served under President Barack Obama as his National Security Council chief, after a viral video showed him berating a halal cart vendor in New York City, making multiple Islamophobic comments.
It's not my fault that you pray to a criminal.
Listen, I'm working now, okay? Can you leave, please? Go, please.
You're not working.
I'm just working here, yeah.
There's nobody here. We're going to put big signs here that say this guy believes in Hamas.
Do you want to buy something?
No, I don't.
Okay, why see here?
I won't give you a penny of my money.
Seldowitz was caught on camera by the man operating the halal cart, calling the Upper East Side vendor a terrorist. Gotham Government Relations said in a statement the firm had ended all affiliation. The video of his actions is vile, racist, and beneath the dignity of the standards we practice at our firm.
Did you rape your daughter like Muhammad?
I speak English.
You only speak English?
No English, no.
You don't speak English?
Yes.
All right. Well, that just shows how ignorant you are. because, Muhammad was a rapist.
Video shows Seldowitz harassing the vendor on 2 separate occasions.
You don't speak English? That's too bad. That's why you're selling food in a food cart, because you're ignorant.
Seldowitz also was the acting director for the National Security Council South Asia Directorate and served in the U.S. State Department's Office of Israel and Palestinian Affairs, according to the New York Times. A press release from November 2022 states he was the Foreign Affairs Chairman for Gotham Government Relations.
Dude, yeah. This guy, absolutely, he was an advisor to Barack Obama, okay? And he is sitting there berating a U.S. citizen, I'm assuming.
A business person.
A businessman. And then sits there and says, if we killed 4,000 Palestine children, that wasn't enough. Mr. Donald, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, how y'all doing?
You're doing well. Mr. B, you want to open up with that?
I would have to say, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. There are 2 types of people in this world. And I haven't got a precious bone in my body. There's people in their shitbags. This man, and the way he's acting, is a prime example of the latter. And that's all I have to say about someone like this. He's a shitbag.
Mr. D.
What got me most on this story was he was an Obama official that worked with foreign relations, and thank God he didn't have the Middle East. He had the Orient. Asia, Southwest Asia. And I agree with Mr. B. This gentleman's a shitbag, man. And he's probably receiving a pension from the government. I was just totally disappointed, man.
Well,
totally.
Don't you think that his, what do you think the consequences should be?
Community work.
Take his pension away from him.
Well, if
whoa. Okay, I am not going to disagree that this dude is not a shitbag. You are a racist piece of shit.
Loud.
Huh?
You're super loud.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm just saying.
No. It's not you because you're getting loud with your voice. You're just loud.
Okay. Anyways.
Right.
Anyways. Okay. No denying he's a shitbag, a racist, prejudiced piece of shit. But now that his true feelings, his true, like the Tigers, they don't change stripes. Well, his stripes came out. Now you want to take his pension? You ain't got no right to do that shit. Okay, he's a racist piece of shit, but even the racists are entitled to their fucking opinion. Let's not forget that. And who gives a fuck who he worked for? Does it fucking matter? Yeah. You can't punish a motherfucker for having an opinion, and that's what you just tried to do. No, that's what you just suggested. Come on now.
Yeah, I did. This is a fucking guy that was advising the fucking president of the
United States. Was passed.
So how fucked up was he back then?
Who knows? Who cares?
Say shit. What do you mean? Who cares? This is
who cares? Because you can't do shit about it. You can't do a damn thing about it.
No,
there's shit you can do about it. So why worry about it?
We understand there's nothing we can do about it, Donnie. But the purpose of the fucking show is to talk about it. So
but that's what I'm talking about.
If we were to go by what you suggest all the time, we'd have nothing to say.
That's what I'm trying to get you to understand and change your mentality of. Is let's not talk about what the shitbag did, but let's talk about how we can change it so the future don't look like the shitbag.
Well, again,
come on now.
The only way to teach them something is to take something from them. Don't you do that to your children? If they misbehave or do something wrong, you do not punish them or give them a timeout or take a phone away or anything?
There's all kinds of different ways to punish people, Blaze.
Oh, Donnie.
What?
It just makes sense, don't it?
No, there's all kinds of different ways to punish people. And once again, what's your end result of so-called punishment for a racist? You're not going to change his ass. So you got to teach for the future. Come on, man.
No, probably not.
This is the problem why racism just keeps fucking existing in this world. Because we keep saying in conversations like this.
But
we
you
could
know
give him a
something,
wake-up call.
But you know something? This guy was bold, man. This guy was real
Yeah,
bold.
he don't.
Knowing he was being recorded.
Exactly.
And insulting this guy like he's a president of something, and he was just another dirtbag, probably a government contractor working now. But that's regardless. Let's talk.
Right. But let's talk about that video. He's over there calling that dude ignorant. You know,
Yes,
who's the ignorant one? Because all that shit he's talking, oh, you're over here selling food. Yeah, that might be what he likes, but guess what? That motherfucker's probably making almost as much as you after taxes, because guess what? All the cash, he ain't got to fucking say shit. So who's the dumb motherfucker now? You know what I'm saying? But he got no problem with
you on that, Donnie. Nobody's
I
disagreeing.
mean, that dude's just...
You done?
No, I was going to say, that dude's just saying shit because he's got a little fucking money and it went to his head. That's the only reason that dude talks like that. Because he knows nothing's going to happen to
You
us.
kill children, not me. Go.
I didn't kill children.
Okay, what I see
You
here.
know why? If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Go.
A Manhattan-based lobbying firm cut ties with its affiliate, Stuart Seldowitz, who served under President Barack Obama as his National Security Council chief, after a viral video showed him berating a halal cart vendor in New York City, making multiple Islamophobic comments.
It's not my fault that you pray to a criminal.
Listen, I'm working now, okay? Can you leave, please? Go, please.
You're not working. There's
I'm
nobody
just
here.
working here, yeah. Go.
There's nobody here. I'm going to put big signs here that say this guy believes in Hamas.
Do you want to buy something?
No, I don't.
Okay, what I see here?
I won't give you a penny of my money.
Seldowitz was caught on camera by the man operating the halal cart, calling the Upper East Side vendor a terrorist. Gotham Government Relations said in a statement the firm had ended all affiliation. The video of his actions is vile, racist, and beneath the dignity of the standards we practice at our firm.
Did you rape your daughter like Muhammad?
Speak English.
Okay, so that's enough of that this fucking guy. But I just think there's should be some repercussions. I mean, how does that have anything to do with, like, I don't know, somebody might use it, free speech? You know what I mean? You're sitting there and looking at a guy and say, oh, you fuck your daughter.
There's free speech, and then there's assault.
Shit, but you know why he makes reference to that? Because Muhammad, the girl was Isha, and he married her when she was 6 years old.
Right.
Right. That's the controversy about that.
Well, it rewards being talked about because some people probably don't understand that. You know, and that's just the way I don't know, man.
No, go ahead, man.
There's fucking free speech, and I agree with free speech 100%. Just because, you know why? Because this is what I'm talking about. Free speech is what we're doing right now. Okay, nobody's in here, hey, you can't do that, you can't do this, and stuff like that. First of all, because we're not talking like that moron did at all. Okay? All right. Secondly, I'm sorry, there's got to be some repercussions to that. And like I said, some people might disagree that it doesn't matter now. Well, I hope, you know what I mean, that some of the decisions he was telling our former president, I don't know. Was this guy in the back with Obama, fucking like locker room bullshit, and you know, about the towel heads or whatever? I don't know. D.
No, I want to jump on the bandwagon with Donnie talking about this guy had FU money. So I looked at Gotham government relations, what they're all about, and they got 4 pillars. The first one is lobbying. They help campaigns, communications, and technology. That's what.
What's their biggest kickback?
I'm gonna look at their clients. I don't see no list of Gotham clients. None.
Yeah. But here's another thought that we're not talking about. Maybe everybody, yes, we have a right to our opinion, right? I've bled for your right for your opinion. Thank you. You're welcome, right? All that good shit. But here's the deal. Not everybody needs to hear your opinion all the time. And I think we live in a society where some people can't handle that. They can't handle the fact that, no, I don't want to hear your opinion because I don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a time and place to, give your opinion, but
there's always that one option, though, Donnie.
But let me ask you another option here. What would you say, and if you're on a jury, if boy that was getting, talked to like that, getting, just downright disrespected, what if he was to come from behind that grill or whatever and just beat the living shit out of that dude? Would you press charges on his ass?
I would say he was provoked.
Yeah, I would think so. I would hope so. But it's in New York, so who knows? But that's the kind of thing where
he knows. He first of all, he has no idea who this guy is. Secondly, if he did that, who was the one at fault?
Right, and what would the law say? That's something I would like to know, because I would hope that the law would say I was provoked and he deserved to get his ass whipped.
With this other guy's credentials, who's going down for that?
Exactly. And that's what's fucked up about our society. Because boy behind the grill or whatever, the food truck guy, he's going to be the one that's going to get in trouble if it gets anything, ridiculous. But I think that dude flat out, man, I'd have been like, well done, guy, well done. You need some ice for your knuckles? If he would have went behind there and whipped his ass, I'd have been helping the dude out. Like, you need some ice for your knuckles or something, man? You want me to watch the grill or something for a minute, But that's just the way it is fucked up, because money will get him where he needs to go.
I agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of Biden plans to use Cold War era law in attempts to lower U.S. prices. We'll be right back with more of The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. All right. Thanks for sticking around for more The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. Let me bring back the boys to the board and Mr. Crowley, aka Mr. D, and the one and only Mr. the B, and my boy Donnie returning after what'd you do? Have to film the little one today, doing some sports?
Yeah, we had a basketball game, so
Great.
couldn't get on.
Something for him or her to go back on and see mistakes and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
It's over. Got to see my niece on ESPN Plus right now, but I got to figure that out.
Nice. Okay. So you wanted to add a little bit of something to the segment before we went to break. So go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to say that video right there, real quick. It tells me two things. One, that whole everybody gets along and we live in this great society where racism and equality and all this stuff exists. America isn't ready for that shit as a whole. We ain't. There's probably a good bunch of people that are, but as a whole, we're not. Right? So number two, that video gives me another. That's a prime example of when violence solves a problem for me, and I'll explain why. Because if that man was to come around and whip his ass like we was talking about, that dude in that suit would have a whole different feeling when he got up and he was done bleeding about how he's going to talk to people on the street. You know what I'm saying? And that ass whip is going to carry forward. That dude will change his tone when he talks to people, man. So sometimes violence is the answer.
Yeah.
It just needs to be the last resort.
I agree. I agree. Sometimes you gotta fucking smack somebody in the mouth. You're absolutely right. Okay, anybody want to weigh in on this situation before we head on to the next segment? Mr. B, anything?
I'm gonna sit here and take this in at this point.
All right, sir. Moving on.
I got one thing to say. So violence, we can't comprehend that in today's society, and I know you know that, Donnie. I just wanted to say something. His punishment, though, that's where a judge needs to be very creative and shit.
Yeah.
I'd have him clean the shitters in a musk, you know that, and inspect it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
I get straight. No, get white glove on that motherfucker, dude. Hell yeah, when you inspect, white glove take shit, man.
Carry towels in the bathhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Just saying, since we're throwing shit out there.
Talking a little shit, I get it, but when you start talking about if it was 4,000 Palestine kids we killed, that wouldn't be enough. Man, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
you took it too far, bro. You took it too far.
Right.
Can I actually chime in and say something?
Sure.
Can I actually chime? There's this fellow saying these things who worked for Barack Hussein Obama.
Right.
Doesn't this sound a little strange?
Yes, and that's
what I was trying to get across.
I mean, every headline put it, that I saw on this wasn't, this gentleman harassing a guy. It started off Obama official, doing shit,
Right.
I was like, man.
Right. Former President Obama's advisor, so-and-so Schmuchit, whatever. There it is. There it is. And you know what? Speaking about, because you brought up the Obama stuff real quick, Mr. B, I'm going to give you an assignment, okay, for next Tuesday's show, if you wouldn't mind. And I'd like for you to dig and see what we can't recover on the chef, the cook that mysteriously
yeah.
So, Mr. D, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We got a live sports update. Celtics 62. Chicago Bulls 42. Second half, 2:17 left to play.
Hey, what's the score? Marquette and UT Martin.
Oh, you got to make me work now.
Yeah, come on.
Yes, sir.
I do have actually a little bit of information for you about that Barack Obama chef thing and whatever else. there had been a preliminary what do they call it? Like the autopsy report came out, and they said that Epstein didn't kill himself.
All right, so something else we can look forward to, and a couple of episodes ahead of time here. We're on, guys. I was doing some homework yesterday and some actual work on the company, and 100 to 44 Utah won.
You are. That's not.
What?
Hey, the home team didn't do too good, Donnie. I threw it in the private chat.
Oh, okay. Thanks, man. I'll look right now. I'll get something to drink. It's all right, man.
I'm assuming Donnie lost some money on Utah.
No,
man. My niece plays for UT Martin, man.
Oh, UT Martin. I apologize, everybody. First of all, and Mr. D, what the fuck you writing in here then? 100-44 Utah won.
Yeah, because that's the score.
Okay, that's what he said.
Yeah, but his niece plays for the other team, and they got skull drugged by this fucking Utah team.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know,
and Dad came up to bat and video recorded the whole thing. And even though it's probably something she doesn't want to watch all the time, but hey, maybe she could learn something in the process. That's all.
You guys are silly. Anyways.
Moving on.
Anyways, what are you guys really going to try to dig into the chef and Epstein and all that shit with the murders?
Well,
I mean, we all know they didn't kill themselves.
What we do. We do news. We look up fucking shit, and that's what we do. We talk about it.
But
that's what we
look,
do.
I'm trying to figure out the narratives, man. I mean, we all know we're never going to know the honest truth about it.
No shit. But it's a fucking discussion to have on the show. Who knows?
Why are you yelling at me, man? I'm just asking the question.
I'm not yelling. I'm not yelling. All right.
Ace Hardware Store. If you're like me, oxygen's a good thing to be breathing right now.
Yeah. What about Joe Biden? We were supposed to talk about something with Joe Biden or something.
We're moving on.
There we go.
Biden plans to use Cold War era law, in attempt to bring down U.S. prices. Let's take a listen.
Honor to introduce the person who has led this work with discipline, with expertise, with a constant focus on how we can use the tools of government to help people in everyday life. The President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Thank you very much, Pete, and it's good to see you all. We always talk about the big issues, the big things, but sometimes the big things work or don't work based on whether or not the little things are in place, the mechanics are in place. Secretary Buttigieg, thank you for being here today and help us launch this new Council on Supply Chain Resilience. I grew up in a family like many of you where when grocery prices went up, the price of a gallon of gas went up, there was a conversation at the kitchen table. I mean, literally, not figuratively. Those conversations have been going on at kitchen tables all across America for a while now. A conversation about whether we'd have enough left over at the end of the month for my dad to be able to, used to say, have a little bit of breathing room. Well, this past week, as Americans gathered around their own kitchen tables for Thanksgiving dinner, that was our goal, to give them a little more breathing room. And together, we made progress. From turkey to air travel to tank of gas, costs went down. They went down. Now, to people making a lot of money, that doesn't matter a whole lot because the costs are relatively small compared to wealthy incomes. In fact, as a share of earnings this Thanksgiving, dinner was the 4th cheapest ever on record. I want you all to know that. I look at all the press, look at that. press is particularly excited about that, I can see. But look, all kidding aside, that's not all. On Thanksgiving 2 years ago, 100 container ships were waiting in to dock in the ports. They were lined up, 100 long out into the ocean. This year, there were less than 10, meaning that today, as folks start their holiday shopping, shelves are stocked, meaning that if major appliances like a stove or a fridge broke down over Thanksgiving, you can replace it faster and 9% cheaper than you did 2 years ago. These savings matter to so many families, especially at this time of the year. And they're no accident when it comes down to supply chains. Did you ever think we'd be talking this much about supply chains? No, but I'm serious. It's critical. Everybody's beginning to figure it out. The average person knows what we're talking about. We talk about supply chains. But when the supply chains were disrupted, we knew what trouble we had. Before the pandemic, supply chains weren't something most Americans thought about or talked about. But today, after years of delay in parts and products, everyone knows why supply chains are so important. That's why within my first month in office, I signed an executive order bringing supply chains home to get goods moving again. So it started here. We had the basic product here. Less than a year later, I signed the bipartisan infrastructure law to make a generational investment in every part of our supply chain, from our roads to our bridges to our ports to our airports to our internet. Less than a year after that, I signed the Inflation Reduction Act to grow the industries of the future right here at home, including electric vehicles and clean energy. And the CHIPS Act and the CHIPS and Science Act. How in God's name can you lead the world when you don't lead the world in science and development? To make sure we never experience another shortage of semiconductors. You know, America invented these chips. I know my staff is tired of hearing me say this in my cabinet, but these small computer chips the size of a fingertip, they affect nearly everything in our lives, from cell phones to automobiles, refrigerators. If you don't have them, you don't have those things. But over time, we went down from producing 40% of the world's chips to just doing 10%, but not anymore. All over the country, semiconductor factory companies are investing hundreds of billions, let me say it, hundreds of billions of dollars to bring chip production back home here to the United States. Over the last 3 years, all the leaders around this table, these two tables on my right and left, have also worked to lower costs for American families. From cracking down on foreign-owned ocean shipping companies that had raised their prices as much as 1,000% while racking up enormous profits. Teaming up with truckers to create registered apprenticeship programs and move a record level of cargo around the country. To helping family farmers and family farms access fertilizer they need to grow food so many of us and so many of us enjoy it at Thanksgiving. Folks, the result, today our supply chains are stronger than ever, with backlogs, bottlenecks, and shipping rates at a 25-year low.
Bullshit.
We've created 14 million new jobs, including 800,000 manufacturing jobs. The unemployment rate has stayed below 4%, for the longest period, longest stretch in over 50 years. And wages for working families have gone up while inflation has come down 65%. Giving families a little more money in their pockets and a little more breathing room for this holiday season.
Guys, quick question. Do you feel in your pocket that inflation's went down by 65%?
No.
Mr. B.
Absolutely not.
Mr. Donald. Okay.
But we know the prices are still too high for too many things. That times are still too tough for too many families. But we made progress, but we have more work to do. Let me be clear. To any corporation that's not brought their prices back down, even as inflation has come down, even as supply chains have been rebuilt, it's time to stop the price gouging, giving the American consumer a break. Look, that's why I'm tackling junk fees, these hidden charges that companies sneak into your bill to make you pay more money just because they can, and you have no alternative. Junk fees take real money out of the pockets of average Americans. They can add up to hundreds of dollars, weighing down family budgets and making it harder for families to pay their bills. and they feel like they're being played for suckers, which they are. Over the past 2 years, my administration has taken steps to crack down on unfair and deceptive junk fees, from banking, hotels, retail housing, rental housing, cable networks, the internet, concerts, airlines, healthcare. For example, some banks and credit unions were charging as much as $30 for basic services like, want to check my balance, it costs you $30. Retrieving old bank records, it costs you that much money. Looking into the balance on a loan, they charge you that money. And we took action. The action we've taken, all that is now illegal. Illegal. Overdraft fees were also down nearly 50%, which means savings of average $150 for 33 million families across the country. And credit companies have been charging an average of $31 whenever you call and whenever you can't pay your bill on time, whenever you're late. You know, we're taking action to cut these fees as well to no more than $8 penalty. But you know, MAGA Republicans in Congress are pushing back on our efforts to end these junk fees. Folks, these refunds may not matter to the wealthy, but they matter to working folks in homes like the ones a lot of us grew up in. That's what this is all about, the American people. And today we're coming together to ask a simple question. What's next? What can we do? What must we do to keep making progress? To keep our supply chain stable and secure in the long term? To keep preserving that breathing room, a little bit of breathing room for American families for the season to come, no matter what challenges we face. And thanks to the folks assembled here around this table, we're making progress on two key fronts. First, we're doubling down on our work at home, starting right here, right now, with the launch of a new Council on Supply Chain Resilience. I'm charging this group to ensure that our supply chains remain secure, diversified, resilient, and into the future. I'm also directing my cabinet to create an early warning system that uses data to spot supply chains risks to our economic security, our national security, our energy security, and our climate security. And I'm proud to announce that I'll be invoking what's known as the Defense Production Act to boost production of essential medicines in America by American workers. Because you notice people had to get certain kinds of shots. It was not available. We had to get it overseas. Well, that supply chain is going to start here in America. Here in America. We're going to help assure American families have reliable access to medicines they need. Second, we're doubling down on our work with global partners. 2 weeks ago, I signed the first of its kind supply chain agreement with 13 countries in the Indo-Pacific. This agreement is going to help us identify supply chain bottlenecks before they become the kind of full-scale disruptions we saw during the pandemic. We all saw what happened then. Semiconductor supply chains from Asia and America from Asia to America shut down. If this agreement had been in place back then, we've been able to avoid that. And auto companies could not have had to lay off so many workers because they couldn't get the computer chips to build the vehicles. On top of this, I also signed the first ever presidential memorandum on worker rights globally, a move that's going to address forced labor, promote worker health, worker wages, worker unions, as we build out our supply chains. Because we know our progress depends on our workers, including union workers. They keep our supply chain secure and our economies moving. So we have to do more and empower them here at home and around the world. Fortunately, we've been able to push back on MAGA Republicans so far, but they haven't given up. They haven't given up. They still want to undo this progress we're making. They're proposing cuts in investments in roads, bridges, the internet, and high-speed internet, the very things that provided anyway, across the board.
Would somebody please shut this
And the
blathering
cuts that could result in
asshole
loss
up?
of jobs and infrastructure and in manufacturing. And they want to go back to the bad old days when corporations looked around the world to find.
Okay, Mr. B,
This is
you
some of the
called
most
for it. Now you got to
unbelievable
answer to
horseshit.
it. You
This is
called
some of the
for
most
it, answer for it.
Incredible horseshit. The numbers that this guy is throwing out, he's pulling numbers out of the air, for Christ's sake, about these things. And to say that signing some edict is going to be adhered to in countries around the world about protecting workers' rights is the most incredible, vapid, stupid idiocy I have ever heard come out of an American president's mouth.
Mr. B, I got to hold you to that, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. B's hot under the collar. And ladies and gentlemen, we got to take our last break of the evening, and we will return in about 4 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Hold that thought, Mr. B. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back with the last 20 minutes of The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. Listen, Mr. B, you was fired up. You was, ready to go. You're screaming, and you're like, can somebody please shut this babbling fool off?
Blathering. This blathering son of a bitch. I can't stand listening to this son of a bitch talk. He keeps throwing out things that mean nothing about nothing. There is no possible way that the numbers that the man is throwing out could possibly be correct. Making statements about the recovery of how many different jobs that they have created and how much better the economy has gotten. It's all a bunch of absolute horseshit. And the people just don't seem to think.
Mr. B?
Yes, sir.
I'm just assuming here, but I'm very concerned about you because I think Mr. Borgstadt's starting to run off on you. I believe you a man right now to do violence to Mr. Biden.
No, I wouldn't do violence to the guy.
I do. I like to beat the shit out of him. He's always talking that shit. I'll take it in the backwoods, man.
If I did that, then I would be breaking Barack Obama's hand.
Well,
he's Obama's puppet.
Yep, you're 100% right, buddy. I cannot. It's these numbers, and we got the money man on for the last 20 minutes. When I go to a store and I used to pay $1 for it, now I'm paying $2. I think that'd be 100% uptick on price. No.
Hey, listen, I'm
serious. No,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm gonna help you along.
It's doubled, man.
Right. I'm gonna help you along. Check this shit out. Right. I mean, it might sound silly, but I'm a fucking candy bar buff. Always been my whole life. Snicker bar is my favorite candy. Anyways, candy bar. But anyways, I like the Reese's. So I mean, look, about a year and a half ago, it was $1.29 for they call them the King packet. Yep. It comes 4 fucking Reese's cups in it.
Yep.
They're $2.49 now.
Yep.
That's over 1,000% fucking price hike.
Have you been to McDonald's and ordered an Egg McMuffin breakfast?
What is it?
Yeah, what's that, like 14 bucks? Now? $11.
$11 for one Egg McMuffin breakfast.
Hash brown?
Yeah, with hash browns and a coffee.
Yeah, because don't get a juice. That'll jack it up.
Oh, yeah, the juice is at least $4.
And that's for a small, bro.
Yeah. And this fool's, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. And this fool is talking about how the economy is down by 65%. Donald.
Please.
Oh, we all know his numbers are full of shit. I've read reports where, yes, there are some items and maybe some high-end luxury type items, yes, those dropped 65%. Because people weren't going to pay for the money. Even the super rich, or luxury guys, they were like, that's too much. So, yeah, some shit like that dropped. But the everyday living stuff, it's gone up 10, 7. Food prices are averaging 7.5% increase over the last year. Rent prices are about 10%, along with used cars. And this latest strike is just going to keep the used car industry high. So parts for vehicles is getting high. But I'd rather, once again, I thank you, Mr. Biden, for the compliment that I got wise to your excuse about supply chain issues. Because he says the American public got smart. Everybody knows about supply chains. Like it's some big deal. Well, yeah, that was the excuse you gave us every fucking time something didn't go right. So, of course, we're going to learn about supply chains. But, thanks for the compliment that we're getting educated. I guess you finally recognize that. You know what I mean? That arrogance really pisses me off.
As far as the supply chain problems are happening when COVID was there, they're the ones that caused it by shutting everything down.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That was your excuse and you shut it down. He's just trying to grab onto what he's done and blame it on the MAGA reporters to try to blame it on Trump. And no, it's bullshit. Prices are still high, and yes, they've signed all these things to try to bring manufacturing back because, yes, they finally figured out, shit, it costs too much. We rely too much on other people. Okay, thank you for finally realizing that.
Right.
But...
And how long are they going to fucking use it? It's, we got what? A little bit over a month, almost 2 months. And before he's in his 4th year. So how many times can you sit there and say, "Oh, I inherited this," or "I inherited this"?
You can't. At this point, you can't.
I mean, yeah, the first year, for real, I can hear you coming out. Well, yeah, I inherit all this and this, which most of it's bullshit, anyways. But your second year, shouldn't you be coming out saying that everything that was supposedly done wrong that you're repairing? Come on, bullshit.
Right, but that's like why right now in years 3 and 4 going in election, anything financially positive that he can preach, he's going to spit that shit and spew it in a way to try to make it look like it's a big event, when if you pay any attention at all, you know he's just talking about maybe a few things. Our economy is still shit overall. It's still going to be shit for a while because nobody really knows where price
But
and
that's
demand are going to,
exactly
meet.
right. And that's why he said what he said. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it's just campaign shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, they all got to come out and start spewing the fucking bullshit here and there, right? Both of them, Republicans and fucking Democrats. It's bullshit time.
Right.
It's bullshit time.
Right.
D?
And this is.
I'm deeply concerned.
Oh, no
and I think-
spectating tonight. No spectating tonight, bud. What do you got to say?
No, I wasn't spectating. I was waiting for the gentleman to finish. Damn, Blaze, you messed me up. I'm just concerned that these prices that we're seeing now is going to be the new normal.
Fuck, D, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, man. I just hate that fucking word. The new fucking normal. You know what I mean? It
is what it is, dude.
But how is the... Sorry, Blake.
You know, he sits there and he says that, God, fucking idiot. He blows my fucking mind.
But Blaze, that idiot, a lot of Americans love that idiot.
I understand that, but why can't they see through the bullshit?
I think they are. I really think they are. And before the
I want to
Democratic...
feel this one. I want to feel this one.
Go.
It's why they believe in the shit? Because human beings have that factor about them that the more incredible the story is, the more they want to believe it.
Yeah, the more it's believable, right?
The more absolutely incredible the story is. How many times have people stood around and told some stupid cock and bull story or whatever else, and everybody's sitting there eating it up like it's absolute fact? It's exactly the same thing we're seeing here. They're throwing out anything that has absolutely no possible way of being confirmed, and everybody's like, oh, well, see, our government's doing wonderful for us. Hey, it's great. You know what? He's a wonderful guy. I'm going to vote again for him. My ass. I've wiped my ass with better toilet paper than what this guy is reading off of.
But I don't understand. Why are you getting upset for him to come out and do campaign stuff and spew campaign stuff to sound like he's great and that he needs to get reelected? Why do you get so upset about that? That's what he's going to do. And people are going to believe the bullshit, and then other people are going to say, no, it's the cycle of it's part of life, man. I mean, of course he's going to spew the shit.
Right. But I think it's our due diligence as FFN Network and the way we see it to help people fucking think the right way. Go ahead, Mr. B.
You want a campaign? You want a way to run a campaign? How about, here's a new idea. Tell the fucking truth.
No.
They're
not going to do that. You know that's not going to happen. You know that's not going to happen because guess what?
Though.
Huh?
I love it though.
Oh, I'd love to see it too. I'd love to see somebody get up there and tell the truth. I don't think we can handle it, but hey, like Jack Nicholson, right? You can't handle the truth. I don't think we could, but I'd like to see one try.
I can handle the truth because we're being forced to live in it. We're the ones that are paying $11 for a freaking Egg McMuffin. We're the ones that are paying $5 for a gallon of milk when it used to be $2 for a gallon of milk.
Right. I understand. We're going to still be the ones that
10 items or less line and spending $60.
Well,
I know, and we're going to continue to pay those prices.
Biden tried to do the same thing Obama did with green energy. You remember all the billions of dollars that they sent to California during Obama for this new Green Deal. That fell through the cracks. And breaking news, his green energy deal, it's breaking through the cracks as well, too. You don't see them pushing the electric car anymore.
I heard something today about that. Electric cars, they're starting to offer 30% discounts on the prices of the cars because they're not moving off the lots.
Yeah.
No. People can't afford it.
Right. So, it's just moral. What we're going to touch base. I mean, he's the president of the United States, so obviously we're always going to have a conversation about him. It's just, election is time is getting closer. All the Hunter Biden stories are starting to fade away a little bit, and and all of those nicey-niceys. So,
hey, hold up. Now, Hunter Biden, he's going to be appearing in front of the House of Representatives Ways and Means Committee or some committee that Comer runs, and he's going to testify in public.
Oh, wow.
About what?
I don't know what the Congress is going to ask him, but he's accepted it.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a choice. They've given him a subpoena.
Oh, they subpoenaed his ass. Okay.
Oh, wow. They subpoenaed his ass, and he's going to show up. I bet you that conversation is, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth due to a current investigation. You know what I mean? But he's still going to save face by saying, I showed up, motherfuckers. I answered your subpoena, because he's probably got some legal shit probation, and if he doesn't answer the subpoena, guess what?
Right. He rather be there in front instead of a fucking judge. You know what I mean? Come on.
Hell yeah.
He's probably going to turn around and try to assert some sort of executive privilege.
That too.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
All right, guys. I got a quick story that we can cover in about 5 minutes before we end the show. Let's take a quick listen.
Quick.
North Korea claims its new spy satellite is working and getting photos of key U.S. locations like the White House. The U.S. adversary launching that satellite into orbit last week. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un claiming to have personally reviewed the images, which reportedly include pictures of the White House, the Pentagon, and U.S. aircraft carriers at the Norfolk Naval Base, among others. Let's bring in correspondent Kelly Meyer live for us there at the White House. Kelly, any reaction yet from the Defense Department?
Yeah, we're hearing from both the Biden administration here at the White House and at the Pentagon about these reports, reportedly taking photos of some of the most famous buildings in the United States, including this one here behind us at the White House. But the Biden administration is saying that they cannot independently verify these claims, and they're sending this message to North Korea saying, stop these provocative actions. This in a statement that we just got in from National Security Council spokesperson Adrian Watson saying, quote, we strongly condemn the DPRK for its launch of a space launch vehicle using ballistic missile technology, which is a brazen violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. Watson goes on to say that this raises tensions and risks destabilizing the security situation in the region and beyond. North Korea is claiming this spy satellite, which they launched into orbit last week, has taken photos of the White House, the Pentagon, and U.S. naval bases like Pearl Harbor. The satellite is expected to formally launch its mission from this Friday on, but could be even sooner. There really is no confirmation whether the satellite is even fully operational, and North Korea has yet to release any images taken, though North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is said to have seen those photos. We're watching now to see what comes out of the
Well, you think this crackpot has got a satellite up there?
Shit, I got that satellite too, and it's called Google Maps. Yeah, it's just propaganda, man.
Big propaganda.
That's all it is, man. Shit.
Mr. B? I'm sorry, Mr. D. I thought you was
No, and I apologize, man. But here I go. Shit, and if he wants pictures of the United States, why don't he go to his compadre up there in China? Xi's got all the pictures.
Right. What's it going to cost him? Z could hook him up. Donald?
No, yeah, I think it's propaganda, but I don't know. I want to see the response, because my response, I'd have to try to do him like old gangster style, like put a laser on his thing and on his table while he's eating and talk about, hey, man, you enjoy that BLT, motherfucker, but let you know we're still here.
Right. I was just going to say that. If anything, and we do have that kind of technology, now's the time to test it, right?
Right. Well, the other thing...
Go ahead.
Well, no, the other thing is what happened to this so-called Space Force and shit that got created? What the hell you doing there, man?
Right.
But
right.
I think it's all
Somebody-
propaganda bullshit, but I do agree with the whole provocative thing. Like, and if you can put factual data to it, because you're saying you can't consistent, well, can't you find? I mean, you got to tell me, you got to be smart enough to figure out there's a new object in space. If you know what I'm saying, come on now.
Yeah, I got you. Well, it's that time of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. And I'd like to say peace and love to each and every one of you out there. And Mr. B, I've been wanting to ask you real quick. Take about 30 seconds. Say goodbye to everybody, and if you could answer my question on your way. Did you guys get snow in New Hampshire?
Parts of New Hampshire did get snow. We had like 3 flakes fell in our yard, and everything else came down as rain. However, only a few miles west of us had snow, and it continued being deeper and being very measurable on the way upward. We had Thanksgiving dinner with my mother-in-law up in Laconia, New Hampshire, where they had a lot more of the snow that was on the ground. But down here, where we live in Epping, we had like 3 flakes, and that was it. And Kim Jong-un had his hair redone. Looks like Felix the Cat, if you ask me. Other than that, I want to say thank you very much. And by the way, I wanted to apologize for having buzz out on you folks on the last show, but unfortunately something family urgent had arisen, and fortunately that little fire's gone out, and now we're fighting the fire with our refrigeration issues. But other than that, we will be seeing you again tomorrow night for Politicking with Mr. B, provided we still on the face of the earth. It's been wonderful. It's been fun. I'll see you all again soon, everybody.
Mr. B, Mr. D, I'm sorry, Mr. D.
Yes, sir. Wow. Just need to be nice to each other. That gentleman up there in New York harassing that Muslim dude trying to make an honest living, not selling crack or anything, and he's getting harassed. It's that's the shit that's got to stop, man. And that's where these groups attack. You know, it gives them fuel for their fire, and we just need to not give them any more fuel. And thank you, Blaze. Thank you, Donnie, and thank you, Mr. B. Y'all have a good night.
Mr. Donald.
Just however we're connecting, appreciate you. I can't agree with more with Mr. Demas. Yeah, that's just bullshit, that guy getting harassed like that. That's why I say I always think positive, do positive everywhere you can. Maybe shit like that won't happen no more, man. See y'all next week. Thank you.
All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to check out the Miss Tammy and Blaze Man show tomorrow from 7 to 8 p.m., followed by Politicking with Mr. B right here on the FFN Network. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?